All right, welcome back, guys, to the Sooner Saloon. Once again, we're without Taylor Reed. It's going to be myself, Nick Reed, and Emerson Campbell. So this week we got TCU coming up. It's going to be an interesting game considering the circumstances of Spencer Rattler and Caleb Williams. I'm expecting Williams in this game, but TCU has lost two games. They're 3-2 right now. Their only losses is to Texas and SMU. Both one possession games, both top 25 teams. The Texas loss was 32-27, I believe, and then the SMU loss, you got Tanner Mordecai on the other side there, was a 42-34 game. So very very tight games. Emerson, this is a team that loves to run the football. They got a two-headed monster at running back, and their offensive line plays really well. What did you see out of TCU so far this season?
Yeah, I like their running backs. Obviously, you have Zach Evans, a former five-star running back, has a lot of potential. Is he a true freshman this year? I think he's a true freshman or a sophomore. Um, yeah, their offensive line has played well. Max Duggan has played well. The offense really, I would say, is the strength of this team this year. Uh, Max Duggan is a mobile quarterback, and when he gets hot, he can throw some strikes downfield, and he can also hurt you with his legs too. He's not super elusive, but he's pretty fast in a straight line, and he's pretty strong, and he can break some of those weaker arm tackles. So getting him down in space will be important, and then, like you said, with their two running backs, Evans and Miller. Between the two of them, they have almost 900 yards rushing on the season in 5 games. So that's almost 200 yards rushing a game.
Um, Emerson, it's looking like you're not on the screen anymore. Um,
What's happening?
just some technical difficulties, but anyways, let's just keep going here. Um, so in this win that TCU had over Texas Tech, I think it was like a 52-31 route, and they had the lead early, and they were stepping on their necks, to say the least. But it was crazy because Max Duggan only had to throw the ball 10 times in this game. He was 8 for 10. He had 104 yards and a touchdown, no interceptions. So he's efficient, but that just tells you how much they like to do the ground and pound with these two good running backs. And these two guys, Kendre Miller and Zach Evans, both had, you know, Miller has 185, 3 touchdowns, averaging 15 yards per carry in that last game against Texas Tech. And then Zach Evans, who I think is the more talented back with a little bit more upside there, he carries it 17 times, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns. So that tells you the story. That tells you exactly what they want to do in this matchup. And it's just going to be really important for Oklahoma to stay in their run fits, maintain good leverage with the D-line, linebackers, and even the secondary, and make that first initial hit and bring them down.
I agree, and I mean, if you really think about it, it's strength versus strength. When TCU is on offense, they're going to want to run the ball, like you talked about, with their dual-headed monster with running backs, and then Duggan, who can also make things happen with his feet, against an Oklahoma team that's only given up 100 yards rushing to one person this year, and that person is, potentially a Heisman finalist right now in Bijan Robinson, who had, 137 yards total yesterday, and he only had like 30 some yards in the second half last week. So, this Oklahoma defense is definitely going to be tested, but they're playing into their strength, trying to run the ball against them, and we'll see how that works out. I think the linebackers have been playing well as of late for Oklahoma, and they've been getting better run fits. The defensive line has continued to be disruptive and dominant, and I think they will only take a step forward, especially with Jalen Redmond hopefully coming back here soon. Probably not for this game, but from within the next couple weeks.
Yeah, and
So yeah, it'll be that'll be definitely interesting part to watch is when TCU's on offense.
maybe even another thing. Maybe it's late in the game, but having Marcus Major back, maybe he gets some touches in the fourth quarter, late in the game. Seeing how much he still can retain of this playbook and what Oklahoma wants to do this week. I also like the thought that you brought up Bijan Robinson, having a hell of a first half, but in the second half he really didn't. He didn't have the game he wanted to have in that second half there. I think he only had 20 to 30 yards, and I think most of that came on one play. But really, a key here is when you're on fourth down, they're going to go for it on fourth down. So you need to get off the field and make a stop because that's just been Oklahoma's poison. It's frustrating to see. It's tough because it seems like if it's in the first quarter, it's in the fourth quarter. If it's 4th and 1, 4th and 16, they somehow find a way to get it done, and it doesn't matter who we're playing, whether it's Nebraska, West Virginia, K-State. And I just want to see that difference this week. I want to get off the field on fourth down. That's one of my keys here. And then another thing for me is for this offense, for the Oklahoma offense, establish the run game, set up the play action. You're going to have chunk yards with Eric Gray and Kennedy. Okay, sorry about that, guys. We're having some issues there, but just to get back on topic, establishing the run for Oklahoma is one of my keys this week. Establish the run, and you're going to get the play action right behind that. And I think there's going to be a lot of chunk plays with Caleb Williams throwing it to whoever. And I think this is a good opportunity for these receivers to break out as well. Marvin Mims had his day. Now I'm looking for Hazelwood and Woods and Stogner, all these guys. I think they're going to mesh together. So it's going to be a fun week to me.
Yeah, I think it's paramount that they establish the run as well. With the performance that Kennedy Brooks had last week, it's obvious that he's come back to form of his previous self. Being 1,000-yard rusher twice in his career at Oklahoma. So, and that assuming that Caleb Williams does start, getting the run game going early will only help to make him feel comfortable, and it will only help to make the pass read option and Caleb Williams in the run game that much more effective. Because if Kennedy Brooks is gashing you for 8 to 10 yards a carry, then that'll make everything so much easier throwing and running downfield for Caleb Williams. And I think it's time for the offensive line to kind of step up. They in the Texas game, they finally seemed to play as a cohesive unit. Marquise Hayes kind of returned to the form that we expected him to be, as a fifth-year starter on this team. And so, the offensive line, now they have the pieces in place and they know where everyone's playing at. So it's time for them to go out and dominate. And because this is the second half of the year, this is when Oklahoma traditionally kicks it into high gear, and all of those small inconsistencies that plague them early in the year disappear, and they start to come out of their shell as a dominant team.
Yep, we're getting really close to championship November, and as an OU fan, we've all seen it. They thrive in November, and that's when they make their playoff run and Big 12 run as well. But this is also the first week that Caleb Williams has to go out there and think, I'm the starter of this team. So he has a little bit of pressure. He looked very unfazed against Texas, but there was no thought going into that game, I'm the guy for this team. He was just kind of thrown in there, but he was also down 18 points. It takes a lot to do that, but he's finally in the position to say, hey, I'm the guy now, and we're going to see that. We're going to see if he's fazed by that. Obviously, Rattler was in some sort of way, but that's something you're looking for Caleb.
Yeah, and yeah, there's probably a lot of pressure going into the Red River rivalry like that. But at the same time, in the back of his mind, he's probably thinking, well, what's the worst that can happen? I'm the backup and we're already down by 18 points. It's not like, him playing poorly in that game would have cost them the game because they were already trailing by so much. So,
Well,
in that
also,
sense,
you can finish your point. Do you have anything
well,
else
no,
to
I was just
say?
saying. So in that sense, it's like, yeah, there's a different sort of pressure knowing that you're going to be starting going into that game and understanding that you need to perform or else the offense will be stagnant.
Yeah, and I
That's all I
also
have.
see the pressure as in seeing how Spencer Rattler was treated. Obviously, they're chanting, we want Caleb, but what if you start to not play very well to expectations? How is this home crowd going to react? How is, Twitter going to react? How are people around campus going to act towards you? Just just a lot of expectation for this spot. So,
Yeah, exactly. You're the guy that people have been asking for, and now it's your responsibility to show out and prove to everyone that they were right and that you are the guy. So yeah, there's definitely going to be an added bit of pressure with that. And Lincoln Riley in his press conference today, Wednesday, talked about how uh, it's unlikely that he'll be going to a two quarterback system. So whoever he picks to start will probably be the one for the remainder of the game, assuming that they play well.
and I agree with that move too. I don't like the two quarterback system. I just think there's a lot of lost momentum. Seems like if one guy's getting hot or they're both struggling, it's hard for the other guy to gain momentum. So yeah, and also I think another key to win here is to force Max Dugan to beat you throwing the football. I think if you stop this run, we can make TCU look pretty one dimensional, and I think it comes back to converting on offense as well. That's just something that we've struggled with, except for the second half against Texas. So we'll see how Williams steps up. We'll see how this team reacts to him, and the locker room's gonna tell you. They're gonna tell you if they believe in this guy, and I think they will.
Yeah, and a great way to get TCU put away early is to go out and get a multiple possession lead. And that's going to force TCU to throw the ball, like you said, and put the ball in Max Duggan's hand and make him throw downfield with if they're playing behind. And that'll play into Oklahoma's, well, not Oklahoma's strength, but that'll play to Oklahoma's benefit because I do think TCU is a better running team than passing team. So if you want to, if you get out early, if you get out ahead early, it'll definitely put TCU in a pinch and something that they're not comfortable playing in.
Right, definitely. And there's a 6:30 kickoff on ABC on Saturday night, and what better
It's a
way to
miracle. It's not 11. It's not 11. Finally, after we decide to move to the SEC, they give us a primetime game.
yeah, not a big noon kickoff, thank God.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No, just a perfect time for a new kind of revamp offense here, and that's kind of how I'm taking it. Perfect time, 6:30 night game in Norman. So, gonna be exciting to see.
Yeah, and the Palace better be rocking, considering how loud the Cotton Bowl was with only 50 some thousand odd people. With 87,000 screaming fans, it ought to be a lot louder
Yeah,
than. And
yeah,
obviously the Red River. It's a different game. That's a different monster altogether. But still,
yeah.
I
There's
hope the
gonna
fan base
be
brings it.
Yeah, they will. I think they will. I think there's a lot of people craving to watch this football game, and the emotions and energy in that place is going to be crazy.
Yeah, especially if Caleb gets the start, everyone will be on their feet for sure. Just because of the hype.
Definitely, definitely. But do you have anything else to close this one out?
Um, I would just like to see the secondary play well. That's the last part of the defense that is yet to really come along. and click. And I know they have a lot of young guys, and I don't know if Delarian Turner-Yell will be back playing. He only played one snap last week, and his hamstring prevented him. He was obviously not good to go. So, I hope the young quarters. I don't think Woody Washington is back, so it's going to be up to DJ Graham and Latrell McCutcheon to have a good game. But that's really all I want to see. That's about it. I'll give you my score now. I'm going to go Oklahoma 44, TCU 27.
Okay. I'm going to have to go with Oklahoma 48, TCU 35.
So multiple possession wins for both of us.
Yes.
Oklahoma cruises.
Yes.
I like it. Hopefully we're right.
Hopefully. We'll see. Only one way to find out. At 6:30 p.m. in Norman, Oklahoma on ABC.
Another thing I wanted to talk about, big news in the recruiting world with Oklahoma. Something that no fan would have predicted in 2018 when Mike Stoops was still on the staff and the defense was less than piss poor.
Horrific.
Just completely terrible. If you would have told any fan back then that, hey, by the 2021 season, midway through the season, you're going to be landing the top defensive tackle in the country and the number 4 or 3 prospect, depending on who you look at, in the country, they would have slapped you. They would have called you everything under the sun and said you're an idiot. But
exactly.
Lo and behold, Oklahoma lands Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy. He was his father. He's a legacy. His father played here, or his father played at Oklahoma back in the day. He's the number 1 rated recruit, or number 1 rated defensive lineman in the country out of Lakeland, Florida. And it came down to A&M and Oklahoma. And talk about a stressful time coming up, because you have A&M coming off of the huge win against Alabama, and then Oklahoma in one of the greatest Red River rivalries of all time in the same week. So if Gabriel didn't have his mind made up by that point, it was easy to think that A&M could snag him. But Oklahoma finished strong, and I saw that Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy, on an interview after his commitment, he talked about how Lincoln Riley was basically one of the only coach in out of everyone that was recruiting him that talked to him on a regular basis and asked how he was doing, weekly if not daily, and was constantly checking in. And I think that's just a testament to Lincoln Riley and his prowess on the recruiting trail, and what him and Alex Grinch have been able to do with this defense and turn it around. And that's one reason I think Lincoln Riley is here to stay at Oklahoma. He loves recruiting. He loves being on the trail and interacting with young men and trying to get them to come to Oklahoma and continue to build what he's already had handed off to him by Bob Stoops. I think that's one reason to look. People always talk about Lincoln Riley going to the NFL for some NFL job every offseason. And I think this is just a testament to why he loves being a head football coach in college and why he's here to stay.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley, we're so fortunate to have that guy. And it seemed like the perfect switch from Bob Stoops to Lincoln Riley. There was no better time to make that transition there. And recruiting,
and I did a little
to kill it.
I did a little messing around on the 247 recruiting calculator, and Oklahoma still has Gentry Williams and Jace McClellan, 2 huge defensive recruits. Gentry Williams is a 5-star cornerback, and Jace McClellan, he's a high 4-star, top 100 defensive lineman, both out of the state of Oklahoma. And there's a couple other people that Oklahoma's still trying to close in on as well for the 2022 recruiting cycle. But if they just land those 2 players, they'll go from number 8, which they're currently at right now nationally, to somewhere in the 3 to 4 range of recruiting nationally. And, it all starts with recruiting. That's evidenced by Clemson and Alabama's run over the last 15 years. They've had the best recruiting classes in the country, and that's what allows them to get to the college football playoff and national championship. So
exactly. And that would be huge to jump up to that, number 2 to 3 range up there, because the 2023 class is already set up. That could be a number 1 class overall.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
really
rolling. Interesting coming in here.
Yeah. And you have to take this into account as well. Oklahoma's ranked 8th nationally without a quarterback recruit in the 2022 class. Malachi Nelson, obviously, in the 2023 class. We all know about him. He's another 5-star. We say it like it's no big deal.
Right.
But it really isn't at Oklahoma. But, they're sitting at number 8th and first in the Big 12. Oh, sorry, second in the Big 12. Excuse me. Texas, whatever. Right now without a quarterback. And that's just a testament to what Lincoln Riley has done. And I'm excited. It's only going to go uphill from here with this team.
Definitely. I definitely agree. There's a lot to look forward to. But we're going to wrap it up here. Key in, ABC, 6:30, Norman, Oklahoma versus TCU. Boomer Sooner. So we'll see you next time.
Boomer Sooner.
Hi, I'm Adam Murphy, director and producer of Sooner Saloon.
My name's Gabe Joyner. I'm the motherfucking sound guy.
And we would like to thank you for watching and want to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe if you like our videos.
Go. Smash that like button. Destroy that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Go out there, kill it.
Cheers to that, bud.
Destroy. Subscribe. Destroy the like button.